Kendra from Crafty Kendra, and today I'm going to show you how to make this scrapbook page, which is page 3 for our 3-page layout. And if you didn't get to see the other pages, this was the first page, it says you. Second page, me. And the last page, us. It would be really easy to make it be daughters, mothers together, or daughter, mother, us, and you know, it'd be great for couples as well as for Mother's Day to celebrate being a mom. But we're going to go ahead and make this page today, so let's get started. Going to bring in our scrap paper and a 6" by 6" piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this cardstock is the textured cardstock. And using our Tempting Turquoise marker and our color spritzer tool, we're going to put the marker in really, really far so we get really splotchy. And I'll go ahead and zoom in here so you can see a really splotchy look instead of a fine mist. Okay, whenever we're done with that, we're going to set our spritzer aside because we're done with it. Next thing we're going to do is bring in a piece of Concord Crush, and it measures 4.5 by 3.5, and it's textured. And on top of that, we're going to layer a 4¼ by 3¼ piece of Tempting Turquoise. Just going to use our snail, the back of the Tempting Turquoise, and we will mat it onto our Concord Crush. And then we'll go ahead and put snail onto our piece of Concord Crush. And what's going to happen with this is it's going to go up in our left-hand corner, but we're going to have it go the long way. Okay, so our page looks like this. Next thing we're going to do is bring in a 6" by 1" piece of Concord Crush Designer Series paper. And this is from the Designer Series Paper Patterns Pack, and it's the in color. And it's something that you can get as a hostess benefit if you didn't want to get a stamp set. But I've already taken our cutter kit, and I've distressed one of the 6" sides. Now what I'm going to do is just flip it over and attach some snail to it. And it's going to go flush along our bottom edge here. After we have it adhered down, we're just going to take our nail and slide it under to kind of bring up some of that roughed up edge and just give it a little more character. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is bring in 3 3/4" circles. Put some snail on the back. And these circles get centered as best you can on this 1" piece. So they get centered from the top and the bottom of this piece, but they get about a 1/4" gap from the side. And you're just going to give them about that 1/4" gap in between. When you get your circles where you want them, you're going to bring in your matte pack and paper piercer, hard surface on the bottom, then your foam. You're going to put your scrapbook page on top, and you're just going to pierce holes in the center of the circles. Put some silver brads through there. Flip it over and you can use the back of your paper piercer to open up the prongs and the bottom of it to help flatten them out. Okay. Now we're going to set that aside and bring in a paper daisy. And this daisy is the large size daisy. And we're just going to use our Tempting Turquoise ink pad. We're just going to color in the center of the daisy and the edges. Then what we're going to do is set our Tempting Turquoise aside and bring in our Concord Crush with a sponge stopper. And we're going to sponge the center of the flower. Okay, and then we're also going to bring back in that scrapbook page and we're going to sponge all the edges of this designer series paper that are on the edge of our scrapbook page. And that's all we're going to sponge. Now what we're going to do is bring in our top note dies. And this time we're going to go the opposite direction we've been doing with our other ones. You're going to need a very vanilla top note die and a Tempting Turquoise. And this time whenever you cut them in half, you're going to cut them in half the long way. Okay? Now I've already done that. I've also already taken my scissors and trimmed off the perforated edge on our very vanilla piece and distressed it with our cutter kit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp from the Notes and Details stamp set that has the perforated journaling lines. I'm just going to take my stamp and line it up where I want it. Stamp it in Tempting Turquoise on there. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to clean off my stamp. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my marker and I'm only going to color in just 2 lines this time. Color in 2 lines. Okay. And then I'm going to line it up as best I can, eyeballing it. Stamp down. And the reason I did it like that is because we're going to be using this whole piece on our scrapbook page. And I wanted to make sure that I only had full lines. I didn't want to come down here and have a partial line. So that's why I stamped it like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my snail and put snail on the back of my very vanilla piece. And layer it onto my Tempting Turquoise. Apply snail to the back of my Tempting Turquoise piece. Bring in my scrapbook page, and this is going to go on the right side of my scrapbook page, flush to the edge. Okay. And I know I have been using mini glue dots for the back of my paper daisies, but I have run out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of snail onto my scrapbook page and place my daisy down. I'm going to bring in a 1-inch piece, a 1-inch circle of Concord Crush. And this is the texture cardstock. And I've already used my Concord Crush marker with the brush tip, and I've written us. I'm just going to come in and punch it out with my 3/4 inch circle punch. And that was written on Very Vanilla. I'm going to sponge the edges with my Tempting Turquoise. Snail on the back of that piece. It gets centered onto my Concord Crush circle. Stampin' Dimensional on the back. And we're going to place it in the center of our flower. And that finishes off our 3-page layout. I hope you guys enjoyed, and that's all I have for you today. Thanks.